What if I told you the only way to win is to stop playing? What if I told you that control, the thing you've been obsessing over, losing sleep over, was never real to begin with? You were taught to cling, to plan, to chase perfection in chaos. But what they didn't teach you is that the tighter you grip, the faster everything slips. You're not tired because life is hard. You're tired because you keep dragging dead weight, people, expectations, outcomes, all of it outside your command. So here's your wake-up call. Control is the cage. Detachment is the weapon. The moment you stop needing outcomes, you start moving with quiet dominance. No anxiety, no over-explaining, no obsession, just presence, precision, power. That's what we do here. This is Stoic Spark. We don't chase approval. We don't beg for peace. We create psychological distance. We cut noise. We train to become unshakable. You want power? Stop reacting, start observing, stop clinging, start letting go. The fewer things that own your mind, the more dangerous you become. Comment this now. I hold nothing. Nothing holds me. Let them run in circles, let them scream for control. You will sit in the silence, watching, waiting, ready to strike when the time is right. Welcome to the void. Let's begin. Number 1, the illusion of control. Control is the most dangerous illusion you've ever believed, and it's not just a lie, it's a trap. Every time you try to force an outcome, convince a person, manipulate a future, you give away pieces of yourself. Quietly, slowly, you become a slave to everything outside you. The weather changes, your mood drops, someone disrespects you, your whole day is ruined, your plan breaks, and so do you. That's not power, that's dependency. The Stoics understood this 2,000 years ago. Epictetus said, "There is only one way to happiness. Stop worrying about things beyond your control." But this isn't just about happiness. This is about domination. You cannot lead your mind while it's being hijacked by circumstances. You cannot evolve if you're emotionally invested in the unpredictable. Detachment isn't apathy, it's clarity. When you stop expecting life to obey you, you start controlling the only thing that ever mattered, your response. Most people are emotional puppets, strings pulled by texts left on read, weather forecasts and failed outcomes. But when you cut those strings, when you detach from the illusion, you enter a new state, calm, uninvested, calculated. You watch the storm, you don't get pulled into it. Comment this. My control begins where illusion ends. That's where true power begins. In the silence, in the stillness, in the absolute rejection of everything you thought you needed. Let them chase, you'll choose. Number 2, self as the only domain. There is only one battlefield that matters. It's not your job, not your relationship, not your past, not the world. It's your mind. Everything else is rented territory, temporary, unstable. The only real estate you will ever own is you. But most people, they spend their lives trying to control what's out there, instead of mastering what's in here. They get angry when others don't act the way they want. They spiral when plans fall apart. They break down when someone leaves. Why? Because they never built the fortress within. If your peace depends on anyone else's behavior, you're not free. If your stability depends on circumstances lining up, you're not strong, you're fragile. The Stoic doesn't ask for a perfect world. He prepares for an imperfect one. He turns inward, not to escape, but to fortify. Discipline, stillness, precision. No one can touch a man who governs himself. No one can manipulate a mind that needs nothing. Your thoughts, yours, your reactions, yours, your silence. A weapon. That's the edge. Most people are predictable because they're reactive, but when you control your domain -dot, you become unreadable. And that is power. Don't manage the world, manage yourself, ruthlessly. Comment this. I am my only territory. Everything else is noise. Build your fortress. Burn the rest. Number 3. Mental control, the fortress within. Imagine your mind as a fortress, cold, silent, impenetrable. Now ask yourself, how many back doors have you left open? How many people have the keys? How many emotions walk in uninvited? Most people don't protect their mind. They decorate it. They fill it with opinions, expectations, and noise, and then wonder why it collapses under pressure. Here's the truth. If your thoughts aren't under your control, someone else is running your life. Mental control isn't about suppression. It's not about pretending you feel nothing. It's about discipline, the ability to choose which thoughts live and which ones die. That's what makes a mind powerful. Not its sensitivity, but its sovereignty. The undisciplined mind is a danger to itself. It overthinks, it reacts, it spirals, it clings to things that are gone. But the disciplined mind, it waits, it watches, it acts. Never in a rush, never in a panic. When someone disrespects you, the fortress holds. When life throws chaos at you, the gates don't open. You observe, you calculate, and when necessary, you strike. Not from emotion, from position. This is the true essence of psychological dominance. Most people broadcast their emotions like a signal flare. You turn yours into shadows. Your calm becomes confusing. Your silence becomes threatening. The less you reveal, the more control you gain. Don't be loud, be loaded. Every thought should be filtered. Every reaction deliberate. Nothing gets in without your permission. That's the standard now. If a thought weakens you, eliminate it. If a person drains you, cut access. If a reaction costs you control, shut it down. You don't owe the world your openness. You owe yourself your sovereignty. Comment this now. My mind is a locked gate. Nothing enters without my command. Don't just live behind the walls, become the walls. You are the fortress, and from now on, nothing gets in. Number 4, the power of not reacting. The moment you react, you lose. Think about that. Every time you flinch, lash out, argue, beg, explain, or chase, you hand over your control. Reaction is submission. Most people are emotional landmines, say the wrong thing and they explode. Ignore them and they implode. That's not power, that's programming. You press the right button and they perform exactly how you expect. Predictable, manipulatable, weak. But the one who doesn't react, the one who observes in silence, calculates in real time, and speaks only when it's strategic, that person is terrifying, because you can't read them, you can't trigger them, you can't control them, and in this world, control over yourself is power over others. When someone disrespects you, you don't flinch. When plans fall apart, you don't panic. When they try to provoke you, you give them nothing. That silence, that unreadability, it's not passive, it's tactical. Not reacting doesn't mean you're weak. It means you're in command. You don't play defense, you watch the field. You study their patterns, track their intentions, and when you do move, it's surgical. Most people move because they're uncomfortable. You move because it's time. And when you move with intention, you control the outcome, even if they think they're the ones pulling strings. Reaction is a leash. Detachment cuts the rope. You stop being the puppet. You become the puppeteer. This doesn't mean you suppress your emotions. It means you own them, you direct them, you weaponize them. And the first step is mastering the pause, the moment between stimulus and action. That's where dominance is built. Say less, show less, feel everything, reveal nothing. Comment this: my pause is my power. Don't let them drag you into chaos. Make them wonder why their fire can't reach your ice. That's the power of not reacting. That's what makes you untouchable. Number 5, strategic detachment, emotionless efficiency. Detachment is not running away. It's not indifference. It's efficiency, strategic, cold, clean. You don't detach because you don't care. You detach because you do, but you refuse to let that care become a vulnerability. Emotion, when uncontrolled, is the most expensive currency in the world, and the people who drain you know that. They want your attention, your reaction, your energy. They want you to invest in things you cannot influence, so you break down while they stay in control. But once you learn to pull back, everything changes. Detachment is the art of clean cuts. No bleeding, no begging, no explanations. You don't argue, you observe. You don't prove, you perform. You don't cling, you correct. And when something no longer serves your purpose or fits your standard, you don't fight it, you remove it. That's not cruelty, that's clarity. Strategic detachment means you choose where your energy goes and where it doesn't. You aren't pulled into emotional black holes anymore. You orbit nothing but your mission. Most people burn out trying to fix things that are broken by design. You step back. You zoom out. You let it collapse without flinching. Why? Because you know what they don't. Letting go is power. You never attach to anything you can't walk away from. Not out of fear, out of discipline. You stay connected, but not dependent. You stay involved, but not consumed. You stay aware, but emotionally unbound. That's efficiency. That's what makes you fast when others are frozen. Precise when others are drowning. Most people feel everything all the time. That's why they're easy to manipulate. You learn to feel without flinching, to detach without collapsing, to walk away without bleeding. Comment this now: I walk light, I cut sharp. This is emotional minimalism. Tactical indifference. You don't own what owns you. Detach, not later. Now, number 6, dominance through absence. Most people think power is noise. They think it's found in being loud, being seen, being everywhere. But real power moves differently. Real power disappears. You don't dominate by being constantly available. You dominate by becoming scarce. In a world addicted to attention, the person who removes theirs becomes untouchable. Understand this: when you walk away, mentally, emotionally, or physically, you break their rhythm. People are used to reaction. They're used to energy being exchanged. When you stop giving it, they're forced to face themselves. And most people aren't ready for that silence. Silence creates space. And in that space, fear grows. They start questioning, why did he disappear? Did I go too far? Is he done with me? Is he planning something? The truth doesn't even matter. The uncertainty does the damage. That's the weapon. You don't need to fight. You don't need to explain. All you do is vanish strategically. Your absence becomes a mirror, and what they see in it often terrifies them. You're no longer reacting, explaining, defending, chasing it. You've exited the game. And now they're playing alone. Here's what they won't tell you. When you stop showing up, you stop being controlled. When you stop speaking, they lose their map. They depended on your presence to feel power, so when you take it away, they don't just lose access. They lose their advantage. This is not pettiness. This is positioning, and positioning wins wars. Look around. The people who chase lose leverage. The people who overexpose get used. But the one who disappears, the one who's unreadable, unbothered, unmoved, that person isn't weak. They're operating at a higher level. When you become silent, you become a storm they didn't prepare for. That tension, that uncertainty, that psychological pressure. It's not an accident. It's designed. Power doesn't always knock. Sometimes it simply leaves. Comment this now: my silence rewrites the room. That's what you are now, a presence that disturbs, even in absence. You're not gone. You're just operating from a higher altitude. You don't argue, you don't explain, you don't chase. You study, you adapt, you choose. And when necessary, you disappear, completely, quietly. permanently. That's not running, that's mastery. Learn to walk away and never look back. Not because you're cold, but because you're in control. Real dominance doesn't need to be seen. Sometimes it's the shadow they can't stop thinking about. Number 7, the unreadable mind. If they can read you, they can reach you. And if they can reach you, they can control you. That's why your mind must become a locked vault. No windows, no leaks, no signals. In a world that overshares, overreacts, and overexposes, silence is not just rare, it's lethal. You want to be respected. Learn to be unreadable. Your emotions are your fingerprints. Your reactions are your trail. Your vulnerability is the blueprint they use to dismantle you. But when you strip all of it away, what are you? A ghost, a question mark, a mind they can't map. That's when you start winning before you even make a move. Most people show too much. In their words, in their tone, in their body language. They expose their insecurities with nervous laughs, their jealousy with subtle jabs, their desperation with endless texts. But you show nothing, not because you don't feel, but because your feelings serve you, not the world. Your thoughts stay yours. Your motives stay hidden. You don't speak to be understood. You speak when it's time to move the board. You smile when it serves the mission. You speak when silence would cost more than precision. And you let them guess, let them misread you, underestimate you, fabricate their own story. You don't correct them, you don't defend your character. You watch, you adapt, you weaponize their assumptions. This is the art of mental warfare. You don't need to attack, you let their imagination do the work for you. And when the time comes to act, they never see it coming, because they never understood you in the first place. Comment this now, they won't read what I never wrote. Remember, if you want to be a mystery, stop narrating your every move. If you want psychological freedom, stop performing for people who aren't qualified to know your mind. Power comes from silence, from watching without needing to be seen, from knowing without needing to prove. You want to be untouchable? Start by being unreadable. Number 8. The untouchable state. There's a level beyond silence, beyond detachment, beyond discipline. A place few reach, not because they aren't capable, but because they won't let go of what keeps them soft. Approval, validation, emotional comfort. You want to be untouchable? Then understand this. You cannot be owned by what you've killed inside yourself. You must kill your need to be understood. Your impulse to explain, your desperation to be seen, loved, justified. That's the surgery. Painful, precise, permanent. And after that, what remains is steel. Not the kind that bends under pressure, but the kind that creates pressure simply by existing. The untouchable state is not about being cold. It's about being indifferent to anything that doesn't serve your mind, your code, your mission. You're not immune to pain. You just refuse to let pain drive. You're not a robot. You're a weaponized human, sharpened by solitude, calibrated by conflict. In this state, you no longer flinch. You lose people. You stay steady. You get betrayed. You adjust your perimeter. You're insulted, disrespected, underestimated. And you respond with silence so deep it echoes. Why? Because reaction is leverage, and you don't give leverage away for free. They want a piece of your mind. Make them earn it. They want your attention. Show them how much it costs. In the untouchable state, people can't trigger you. They can only expose themselves. That's the shift. You go from being influenced to being the influence, from being reactive to being radically in command. It's not that you don't feel anymore, it's that you've trained yourself to feel without leaking. They can't read you, they can't provoke you, and when you speak, every word lands with precision because you've built a reputation of silence backed by power. The Stoics called it apatheia, a mind undisturbed. Modern society calls it emotionally unavailable. I call it dangerous, because the person who needs nothing is the one who cannot be broken. You've become the calm in the middle of chaos, the fixed point in a spinning world, the ghost they can't grasp but can't stop thinking about. And that's the final form. Comment this now. My peace is not a negotiation. Say it. Believe it, because in the untouchable state you don't compromise to be liked. You don't lower your volume, you change the frequency. You don't follow, you lead in silence. Your emotions no longer control you, your past no longer defines you. You are no longer at war with the world, because you've conquered the only battlefield that ever mattered, yourself. This is the final piece. Everything before this was preparation. Now we move from understanding to execution, from knowing to becoming. You've learned what detachment looks like. You've seen how silence holds more power than noise. You've tasted what it means to be unreadable, unreactive, and untouched. But knowledge without action is dead weight. So here's your next move. Master yourself. Not someday, not when it's convenient. Now that means no more emotional leakage. No more chasing people who don't respect your time. No more trying to control what was never yours. You pull back. You tighten your perimeter. You guard your energy like it's a kingdom, because it is. And from this day forward, nothing gets through the gates unless you allow it. Look around. Most people you know, they live in mental chaos. Their emotions are flammable. Their identity is fragile. They panic when they're ignored. They unravel when they're challenged. But you don't move like that anymore. From now on, your identity comes from within. You're not here to impress. You're here to build something indestructible. A mind so calm, so calculated, so disciplined, that the world bends around it. Mastery is not about control over others. It's total sovereignty over yourself. So choose, will you keep reacting like everyone else? Or will you vanish, evolve, and re-emerge untouchable? Comment this now, one last time. I am untouchable because I choose myself. Say it loud, say it clear. Let it stamp itself into your mind like a brand. Because this isn't just a phrase, it's your new code. You don't just want peace, you become it. You don't just want power, you command it. Without noise, without show, without compromise. From this point forward, every move you make should come from control, not craving. Every silence should carry weight. Every retreat should be strategic. You're not here to be understood, you're here to be unshakable. If you've made it this far, you're not average. Most people clicked away the moment they felt discomfort. You stayed. You absorbed. You're already becoming what they fear. Calm, calculated, complete. Now seal it. Like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications so every time we drop another weaponized idea, you're ready. This is Stoic Sparked. We don't motivate, we arm the mind. Welcome to the new standard. And from now on, let them wonder why nothing breaks you.